Another wave of Zealots coming in. Looks like there is a factory just scouting out the base of the Protoss. We'll be getting some information for our Templar. A High Templar, or just a Templar Archives, which is that access to High Templars, going up for our Protoss player. Another stim going off. Chargelots just slicing everything they see. Stalkers and Sentries doing damage from the back as well. This one Zealot is confused as he thought he was a long-range unit, but spoiler alert, Zealots do not have a ranged attack. Looks like another wave of Zealots warping in. This might spell the end for this Terran player's force, as he actually does not have any upgrades quite yet. He has just now started to get weapons level 1 for that ground army. He has loaded units into this medevac, and he's dropping into the main base of our Protoss. May be able to snipe this pylon, but here comes the Protoss player's army. Will shoo off the Terran forces before they're even to take down one lowly pylon. And now Blink is on the way, Armor level 2 is about to finish, and 6 High Templars are about to warp in. And here we go, Archons being warped in from those High Templars, so not even caring about High Templars, just making them into Archons right away. I don't believe he has Psystorm researched quite yet. Let's just check on that. Nope, he has not started Psystorm research. He is going to be getting a 3rd base down here, so we'll have to keep an eye on that to see if MarineKingPrime allows that to finish, or if he's able to punish our Protoss player for expanding here. He is going to be moving his army back towards his own main base. There's still this factory chilling overhead. A cannon going to be put up just to make sure that factory can't stay there forever. Looks like a Ghost Academy being built by our Terran player just for that EMP, which is so very effective against the Protoss Death Ball. Here we go, Concussive Shells about to finish, and Weapons level 1 is right around 2/3 of the way done. Looks like about half loaded medevacs. This is 8 medevacs, say on average about half full. Going to be flying into the Protoss player's base. Blink is about to finish for our Protoss player, so if he does have some Stalkers ready, and he does, there might be a very ineffective drop if the Stalkers are able to get in position and hold this off. But they might be able to snipe this Twilight Council right here. Unfortunately for the Terran player, that really isn't the most crucial Twilight Council at this point, as our Protoss player has gotten pretty much everything possible out of there. And here comes some Archons going to be telling the Terran forces that they really shouldn't be here. They're not welcome, and they are going to be forced to leave. They're trying to get back in the medevacs, and here we go. The medevac's trying to get away without losing too much. This one medevac looks like it will be sniped, but fortunately for our Terran player, that medevac was not full of anything, so not the greatest loss in terms of losing a medevac right there. My computer is apparently just crying itself to sleep as so much stuff is happening on the screen. Hopefully it can rally and not die, because I mean a dead computer is definitely not very good. The 3rd base is up and running for our Protoss player Polygon, going to get those assimilators first, as gas is more crucial to him at this moment than minerals. Let's take a look at that income harvester tab just to get an idea of what's happening. Looks like our Protoss player is at an advantage, about 3 harvesters and about 200 or so minerals per minute. We actually have the Terran player's 3rd base going up here. I don't understand why he's building it here and not over there, but I mean, I'm not one to question MarineKingPrime. He's doing what he wants to do, and that will probably have something relevant for him in the future. 3 Archons going to be warping in here at the main, and then going to be joining the army, as now there will be 6 Archons for the Protoss player. That is quite the formidable army right now. A bunch of Zealots and some Sentries and some High Templars, along with just a healthy 6 Archons ready to roast away. And here we go, 2 Archons actually tag teaming in SCV. That is about the most unfair battle I've ever seen. Don't ever try to do that if you are an SCV at home, folks. Do not battle 2 Archons at once. A 4th Nexus, a Ninja expansion being taken by a Protoss player. That is curious at best, but hey, he is going to be able to hide that expansion pretty well, as, I mean, MarineKingPrime can't expect a 4th expansion to be going up there at the 8 o'clock player's base. He would probably expect it to be one of these bases down here. And he's actually going to be flying this command center from right here to over there, as it is going to be much more effective in the right place next to the mineral line. Looks like a 5th base going to be started as well for Polygon. So we will have a 5 base Protoss if our Terran player does not slow him down. And that might spell some serious trouble for the Terran if that is allowed to continue. Psystorm has reached about halfway done for our Protoss player. Looks like this medevac has some thoughts of journeying across the map and dropping some units to do some damage. Ghosts being produced for our Terran player, along with weapons, or armor level 1 rather, being researched. That is approaching near completion. Armor level 3, so our Protoss player is focusing on armor here in this point of the game. This medevac sees a probe and decides that it doesn't want to drop there, because of course it would get scouted out immediately. Over here, it is just a ball of Stalkers taking control of that one watchtower. Spoiler alert, you don't need more than 1 unit to take control of a watchtower. But of course, it is more fun for those Stalkers to have other Stalkers to talk to when they are assigned the boring task of just watching over a Xel'Naga watchtower. Psystorm is about to be finished for our Protoss player. Looks like still just Marines and Marauders being produced by our Terran player. And here we go, a bunch of Marines and Marauders going to be moving out for the Terran player. Looks like about 4 or 5 Ghosts spearheading the assault as well. And they're going to to be meeting up with this contingency of Stalkers who decide to blink out of there as they were grossly outnumbered here in that engagement. So they will be phoning home and telling their Protoss buddies, and now it is just a bunch of Archons surrounding the army. The Terran player will have to be very, very careful engaging this Protoss Death Ball, because if he is not careful, he will go the way of that Meng statue and just get obliterated if he engages this Death Ball in the wrong way. Here we go. One Ghost actually going to be scouting out the area. May have been trying to get an EMP off, but decided against it. And here we go. Stimpaks going off. The Terran player is going to be running, but no, is deterred by a couple of storms. The Zealots actually charging into the storms. Not the most intelligent Zealots right there. We see a stream of Marines and Marauders still just streaming down from the Terran player's base. And this ball might be clashing right now. One charge lot going to be chopping up a Ghost. Very nicely done by that one charge lot. Stimming to run away, but that might have been a very, very unwise stim, as all of these units are going to be in the yellow and orange. This medevac still fully loaded, going to be right there in the back. He's going to be using that right now, going to be dropping them into the main. There are a couple of lots just patrolling around there. He has discovered this base down here and destroyed that very, very quickly as all of his forces. He split up his forces in half or so. These forces checking this base, but these forces just being thrown into the meat grinder, trying to run past the Protoss Death Ball. A couple of them do manage to escape, but then the charge lots say, this is what you get for escaping, and they chop them up in half as a couple of Stalkers are warped in and decide they should probably die as well. Here we go. The medevacs for the majority of the Terran army are still going to be flying down here. Looks like that drop up here was pretty easily cleaned up by these patrolling charge lots. That was not very effective for our Terran player. Let's take a look at that income loss tab. Here we go. 8,875 for our Terran player and only 5,400 for our Protoss. So a very, very heavy advantage right now for the Protoss, as his Ninja expansion is still pretty safe. Our Terran player did not think to check over there, and that might be disastrous, as that will be the 4th base for our Protoss player up and running in the very near future. Looks like shields upgrades are starting to be researched by our Protoss player. This one Stalker going to be checking to see just what's happening near the Terran player army, and it might just be able to find these forces right here, just kind of walking around the front door, and there might be a massive, massive final engagement right now as the Protoss Death Ball is living up to its name. Just a bunch of Archons with High Templars, access to storms, and then charge lots chopping up everything. One force will just going off for fun right there. All of these units having stimmed so very heavily are all still low on health before the engagement even happens. And this might be very, very, very bad for the Terran player, as his medevacs are actually out of energy, so there won't be even healing happening right now, and this is probably going to be the death knells for our Terran player, as this factory is trying to help out, but unfortunately for the Terran army, the factory does not have any air-to-ground attacks to assist his comrades, and in fact, all of them do die, so now MarineKingPrime is in some serious trouble, as all he has is 3 Marauders firing from the high ground, but that of course will do next to nothing, as there is just an entire tab about 10 Archons just destroying everything they see. So the Protoss Death Ball is as deadly as I have ever seen it. Looks like a couple of units were just misrallied down here and then left to just kind of sit there because they're not really doing much of anything. This factory is still alive. Looks like a bunch of, what is that, High Templars? Yeah, High Templars being morphed into Archons. So our Protoss player knows this game is in the bag. It's just a matter of time until MarineKingPrime decides he's done watching his base get obliterated, as right now he has decided to GG out of the game. Look at this screen, just Archons all over the place. Probably more Archons in the field than the Terran player has buildings, which is a terrible ratio if you are a Terran player to have your buildings outnumbered by those Archons. So very well played by Polygon today in this game. I hope you guys enjoyed that game, and I will see you guys next time.